AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
I appreciate it, bud. Have a good one.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Musso. And Mr. Toby Tomplin. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Many of you probably know this by now because it was made public yesterday, but many more of you are going to learn this right now because for the last 11 years at this very moment, you've been here expecting to hear Mike Detillier. And that's not going to happen anymore. So there's nothing wrong. It's just a great opportunity for Mike. Mike has taken a job joining the afternoon show on WWL radio based out of New Orleans. And that, of course, precludes him from joining us here, continuing on Thursdays. I wish him, obviously, nothing but success. Mike he's the best. I mean, he's awesome. There's so many superlatives that I could use. But it would just be so... it would be just off key if I didn't take this time to at least mention this, because in my radio career, and I started in radio in May of 2003, not that you need the whole history, but I started radio in May 2003. I started in sports in May of 2007. I started this show in February of 2010. And I started this show, I believe... It was a Monday. No, the first show we did kind of a one-off on National Signing Day, and then actually started the Monday through Friday on Monday, which I believe was the 17th, February 17th of 2010. That Thursday, Mike Detillier was on with us for an hour. And every Thursday since, over the last 11 and a half years, Mike Detillier has spent an hour with us, which means that in my radio career, there is literally no person that I have spent more time with on air than Mike Detillier. A lot of people over the years would say to me, man, you never get a word in with Mike. Yeah. That's why he's awesome. When you have a guest on, people aren't listening to hear the host. They're listening to hear the guest. And Mike is one of the rare few that was like, if I'll steal a line from my buddy Eric Ritchie, like pitching batting practice to McGuire in 1998. All I had to do was put the ball on a tee, and he would hit 450-foot moonshots time and time and time again. And he was also, of course, perfect on this show because he never ceased with the one-liners. I told Musso, just find some Mike D one-liners. And he's like, I got like 20 of them.
All of that is all sort of woven into a sweater that I can't fit.
I mean, sometimes they made sense. Sometimes they didn't. Hit me with another one.
And so you got to have that chirper ability.
God, keep going. Give me some more. Give me some more Mike D.
That ain't his mantra.
Hey, it's Montre. My guy could certainly, he could buy-you-ify some words from time to time. Give me another one.
I never forget Mount Cody. Remember when Mount Cody played for Alabama?
Absolutely.
He walked like Fred Sanford, like you could take a barrel and throw it between his legs, and it would never touch his knees.
He's a freaking legend. Oh, God, Mike D's a beauty. But I am so grateful, man. I'm pumped for Mike. He's obviously got he's got an opportunity. You can't turn that down. So he got an opportunity he couldn't pass on. I mean, that happens. And the thing that you learn in this business, having done it long enough, is consistency is so hard to achieve. It just is. Like, it's a very transient business. People typically don't stay in one place for 5, 10, 20, 30 years. Like, that's rare. I mean, even the best, one of the longest standing show on ESPN Radio, Mike and Mike, that broke apart. And look at all the look at the domino effect on the ESPN national lineup since Mike and Mike. Then they went to Golick and Wingo, and now they got a new morning show. It's like stability is very hard to find. And when you get 11 years of stability with a dude like that, with a wealth of information that I could ask him about any player, any team, any game, any prospect, and I never even had to prep Mike on anything. Like, I could just say, Mike, there's this 3-star that LSU just got, our 4-star LSU got a commitment from. What do you know about him? And then, boom, he's telling you the dude's whole life story. He's just he's encyclopedia. And I am so grateful to Mike Detillier for giving us an hour every Thursday for 11 and a half years. I mean, that is time is our most precious commodity. Like, you can't get more of it. When it's gone, it's gone. And every Thursday for 11 and a half years, that dude spent an hour with us talking to me, but more importantly, giving that time to you. And he's one of my favorite people, not just professionally, of course professionally. He's been so kind to me. Certainly when we first crossed paths professionally, he'd been doing it for 30 years, and I was a young guy in the business. But he's been so kind to me professionally, but also personally. Mike's a great friend and one of my favorite people. I've told you all, man, the times that he and I have had just to sit and have a beer or a cocktail and shoot the bull. And, man, you just wind him up like a toy and let him go, and he'll tell you stories all night long. And he's got them. He's got them for days, man. And I'm of course, from the show's perspective, I'm bummed that we're not going to have that component anymore. That part is very disappointing, but personally and professionally, I totally understand it. And more than anything, I'm just super grateful. I'm grateful for Mike for giving us all the time that he has over the years. So a lot of people say, Matt, what are you going to do? I have no idea. Mike literally called me 2 days ago. He called me Tuesday morning. It happened very quickly. Apparently, he was approached late last week about it. They basically finished their deal, I think, on Monday, and then Mike called me Tuesday morning to tell me. He said, just do me a favor, keep it under wraps, which, of course, I was going to do. I wasn't going to violate that. So I've known for about 48 hours. So I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do in this slot. I don't know if we're going to find someone else to fill an hour. I don't know if I can find someone else that's going to do what Mike did for an hour throughout the entire year, because when the college season ends and then the NFL season ends, then we went into draft mode, and Mike's a freaking been a draft analyst for 30 years. I mean, it was never ceasing. I mean, he's so comprehensive. So I don't know if I can find, if that person's there. I don't know. I don't know what we'll do. I'll take some time and think about it. There's no giant rush to fill that void or whatever we're going to do. But more than anything, it just would have been inappropriate of me for this time to come and go and just not to say anything, just to move on like nothing happened. I mean, of course, I'm gonna mention it and let you all know what happened and what's going on and why Mike won't be here anymore. But again, thrilled for Mike. I'm super grateful to him for the time over the years, the friendship, and hopefully you all are patient with us and what we do here in hour number 2 on Thursdays. We'll figure it out. And if anybody has great stories about mules kicking coyotes, that has a wealth of and a diverse wealth of music knowledge that can also basically give you detailed information on any football player, high school, college, or pro, please just shoot me an email, because there's a spot open here in hour 2 on Thursdays. But I'm going to go ahead and venture a guess that that's going to be a really, really tough act to follow. Thanks to Mike D, man. We love him, appreciate him, wish him well. And hopefully at some point our paths cross again professionally down the road. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. Let me knock out a quick break. Kendall Rogers in about 20 minutes from right now. We'll talk about the new staff hires at LSU and, of course, the transfers that Jay Johnson has brought in as well. It is AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Pluckers. Today is Thursday, and it's a new special at Pluckers. For years, it's been all-you-can-eat boneless wings. Now it's all-you-can-eat buffalo bites. So the bite-sized buffalo bites tossed in your favorite wing sauce, that's all you can eat tonight and every Thursday now at both Pluckers locations. Nicholson just south of campus, Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. If you're like me and you were completely avoiding the mall because they had a freaking 12-foot python on the loose, they found Kara, thank God, that sweet 12-foot python, 150 pounds. So no worries. You can go to Pluckers and not have to worry about Kara slithering out of the mall and getting to Pluckers or any of the nearby restaurants. You can eat with some degree of comfort over there at the Bluebonnet location. But either location, if you want award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, full-service bar, sports on TV. Tonight, Game 2 of the NBA Finals. You know where to watch. All-you-can-eat buffalo bites and Game 2 of the Finals at Pluckers. Dine in or carry out. You don't like our wings. We'll give you the bird.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona. Presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Do you remember a couple of months ago, it's actually in April, when ESPN released their updated FPI, which is the football percentage index? And they crunched all the numbers using their formula, and they gave you the top 150 according to the FPI, the most impactful game, the likelihood of conferences making it to the college football playoff, and odds of winning the championship, etc. You remember that? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Well, there was one gigantic outlier. They had Mississippi State in the top 10. You remember this? Maybe you don't. If you don't, well, they had Mississippi State in the top 10. People were like aghast. Like, how in the world could the team that was 3-7 a year ago be in the top 10 preseason? Like, how do we lend any credibility to this metric? And I'm not saying it's the be-all, end-all, but it is a metric by which people use to associate value. Well, FPI has re-released, ESPN has re-released their FPI rankings because they had data and modeling errors. You don't say. And Mississippi State was not supposed to be number 10. The Bulldogs are 24. That makes a lot more sense. Some other notable changes. Miami was 20. They're actually 10. Makes a little more sense as well. Oklahoma State, who they had at number 9 on the list, also not in the top 10. They're 19, which feels more appropriate. Washington, man, did they get hosed. They had Washington at 59. They're actually 25. Utah was at 57. They're actually at 30. How about Central Florida? They were at number 70. Now they're up to 34. You get it. Basically, they screwed up the metric. They put a decimal spot in the wrong place like Michael Bolton in Office Space. I always do that. I always screw up some mundane detail. Oh, this is not a mundane detail, Michael. I can't believe that got past all the fact checkers, but it did. With the new rankings, by the way, your top 10 is Alabama, Clemson, Oklahoma, Ohio State. No shock. Georgia 5, Texas A&M 6, Texas 7. How about that? Notre Dame 8, Iowa State 9, and Miami 10. So that's your top 10. If you're wondering, they give the SEC a 94% chance of getting a team in the playoff, 31% chance of getting multiple teams. If you're wondering, SEC has a 31% chance of getting multiple teams in the playoffs. The next closest conference is the Big 12 with a 7% chance. So clearly, the SEC, by any metric, still light years ahead of everybody else. They project Ohio State to be the runaway winner in the Big 10. Gigantic gap after the top 4 to number 5, Georgia. And they're basically saying, because the computers look at JT Daniels and say, it was just 4 games. They know he's very good, but a 4-game sample size, they're not going to reward that. The computers didn't reward that. 91% chance that the Pac-12 is left out of the playoff again. 91% chance the Pac-12 does not make the playoff. If you're wondering about the rest of the top 50, I mentioned Bama was 1, Georgia 5, A&M 6. So 3 of the top 6 from the SEC. Florida 11, Auburn 15 with a new coach. Auburn 15, LSU 18, Ole Miss 20, Mississippi State, as we mentioned, 24. How about Arkansas at 36? Higher than Kentucky at 40, according to the computers. Then Missouri at 46 and Tennessee at 47. The other thing that was a little bit of a gut punch, FPI listed the top 15 most impactful games for the college football playoff race. They listed 15 games. 6 of the games included SEC schools. None of them included LSU. Basically saying that LSU isn't a factor in the college football playoff. I know that's going to be a gut punch and a tough pill to swallow for LSU fans because we're so accustomed to seeing LSU on lists like this. But I think this is something that we're in this time of year every year when you start to build into the summer toward fall camp at the start of the season where optimism just grows. It becomes a groundswell. It becomes a groundswell of optimism, and everybody thinks our team's going to be awesome. The reality check is Vegas has LSU at 8.5. FPI, the computers are saying, yeah, you're not one of the top 15 most impactful games. You're ranked 18th in the country. I think where I fall with this LSU team, I've said when people ask, I look at this team, Vegas has them 8.5. I think they go over. I think they're 9-3. I think this is 2018 do-over. I think you lose at Bama. I think they're going to lose at Ole Miss, which is not popular, I know, but I think that Ole Miss offense is going to be fantastic this year with Matt Corral, and it's on the road. And I think they go 2-1 in the home games against A&M, Florida, and Auburn. I think they drop one of those and win 2. The Kentucky game scares the hell out of me because it's a trap spot right between Auburn and Florida, and you got to go on the road. And for whatever reason, LSU struggled there. But I think you're going to have some really nice wins. You're going to have some head-scratching losses. But I think you're 9-3, and that builds toward 2022, where I think LSU's a national championship contender again. So I kind of understand where intellectually where all of this settles. So anyway, that's what FPI has to say about the updated FPI standings that do not have Mississippi State in the preseason top 10. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. Man, I've been telling you, of course, the Atlas, the 3-row, 7-seater family SUV. They also have the all-new 2022 Taos, T-A-O-S, which is the fun-sized SUV. You can see their inventory online at southpointvw.com. Go shop a Taos, and I'm telling you, man, this is something that is safe, stylish, and affordable. It is an awesome time to get by South Point Volkswagen and shop southpointvw.com. If it's on the lot, it's online at southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? So, we told you what the computer said. Now, what about opinions? By the way, welcome back, Paul. Paul O'Neill's back. Paul had a couple of days off after the holiday. Took Tuesday, Wednesday off. Paul, are you good? Haven't talked to you in about, an hour and a half. Okay.
Good.
Welcome back. Good. You had a good time away?
I did.
Great. Well, you know what you missed while you were away?
What'd I miss?
We have a new segment. Where we make fun of sports talk radio people that become indignant over lists online during the summer that are basically just filler, airtime, and internet space, and basically trying to incite people to be aggravated with their lists.
Okay. I'm going to need more explanation.
Okay, let's let the voice guy take care of that.
And now it's time for Feigned Indignance from Sports Talk Radio Guy over random summertime sports lists.
Let's do it. So I'm over on the internet today, and I come to CBSSports.com. You familiar with CBSSports.com?
Yeah, I go there quite often.
You know this is not going to go well for LSU. You want to know why?
I bet I know why, but why?
Because CBS hates LSU.
Of course they do.
They always peg us with the 2:30 games. They know our tradition.
It's terrible.
We want night games, and they always make us listen to Dan Vern Lundquist and Gary Danielson.
Gary.
The worst. How does that guy have a job? He loves Alabama. He hates LSU. I swear to God, I think Gary Danielson has a Big Al tattoo on his ass cheek. That's what Gary Danielson has. I think on his heart, he has a tattoo of the Alabama A on his heart, and probably one ass cheek, Big Al, other ass cheek, Nick Saban.
100%. You know how much houndstooth that man probably
All
owns?
of it. It's his whole wardrobe.
Whole thing.
So who do you think CBS has as the number one coach in the SEC?
It's got to be Nick Saban.
Of course it's Nick Saban.
Gosh.
Never mind the fact that he's cheated his whole career.
100%.
He pays players.
Yep.
He intimidates people even though he's 5'2". He's a bad guy. He curses at the media all the time. He's awful, but Gary Danielson loves him, and so does CBS. They do whatever Saban wants, so of course they're going to put him number one on this list.
That is blasphemous.
Well, who do you think's next on the list?
I mean, they love them some Georgia as well.
Well,
we got some Kirby Smart.
Nope, not Kirby.
What?
It's Jimbo.
Oh, come on.
Let me tell you something. Jimbo was face planting at Florida State.
Yep.
And let me ask you one thing that he's done since he's been at Texas A&M.
Missed the playoff.
That's all he's done.
That's it.
Do they have a single big? Oh, I know the big win they have at Texas A&M when they, air quotes, beat LSU in 7 overtimes back in 2018. They made cups about it and everything. What? We're hanging banners in College Station just because they won a 7 overtime game where they cheated 5 times?
True.
You know they paid the refs.
Absolutely.
All the Maggie Oil guys, they got the money. They were slipping refs $100 bills at halftime. I know a guy that was there and said he saw it.
I believe you. Jimbo number 2. Come on.
Jimbo has won a title. You know who else has won a title?
Not at Texas A&M.
You know who else has won a title among SEC head coaches? There's 3. You got, of course, Nick and Jimbo. They're 1, 2. Who's the other coach that's won a national title?
Be Ed Ogeron.
Got to be number 3 on the list,
100%.
right? 100%. Got to be number 3, Coach O.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, don't tell me.
Guess who it is? Guess who it is?
They love some Georgia. Is
they
it? Oh,
love
gosh.
those silver britches. You tell me one thing Kirby Smart has done other than coach under Nick Saban.
Lose championship games?
He made one, lost it,
hangs recruiting banners all the time.
4th in a million, and they give up a touchdown to a freshman wide receiver. What about that defensive guru, Kirby Smart?
What are we doing?
I tell you what, the fact that Kirby Smart is on this list ahead of Coach O just proves that CBS hates Cajun people.
It's true.
They hate Cajun people.
They always mock his accent.
Mock him all the time.
All the time.
That's what they do. He's not higher on this list because CBS hates Cajun people.
He's got to at least be number 4.
No!
Though. What?
He's not 4.
Yes. Who else could you put above
They got
Coach?
Dan Mullen, number 4. A career 500 coach. They got Dan Mullen at number 4.
This guy's players throw shoes everywhere.
Let me ask you something. When was the last time Florida was in the college football playoffs?
I'd be never.
Never.
You just made the list.
Yeah. Well, finally at number 5, they finally got Coach O on the list.
Disrespectful.
Awful. They had him 2 in the SEC last year. Dropped him all the way to 5. I'm sorry. Everybody opted out. We're in the middle of a global pandemic. You're playing in front of nobody. You had games canceled, moved all the time. Give me a break, CBS.
I'm right.
Mark Stoops in there at number 6. Boy, they love them some Mark Stoops, don't they? Just the little engine that could. The guy that's never really won anything, but you got to throw him somewhere on the list.
No, you don't. Kentucky should never be ranked 6th in anything.
Except basketball.
No, they should be ranked higher than that in basketball.
You're right, Yuso.
What are we doing?
Brian Harson's never coached a game in the SEC. They got him at 7. Got him ahead of Lane Kiffin.
Oh.
Got him ahead of Mike Leach. Got him ahead of Eli Drinkwitz. I'm going to tell you something right now.
That's our guy.
The people who should be really pissed are Missouri fans.
Yeah.
Eli Drinkwitz going 5-5 last year with that team in this league. That schedule. Remember, everybody was saying, "Oh, they really screwed the new guys with Sam Pittman and Eli Drinkwitz." Your boy went 5-5. Eli Drinkwitz. They should hang a banner in Missouri, and CBS screwed him.
That is blasphemous.
Then comes Sam Pittman. Then comes Josh Heupel. And then wrap it up with Clark Lee and Shane Beamer. Let me ask you one thing. Why in the hell would you have Clark Lee ahead of Shane Beamer? Neither guy's ever been a head coach, but let me tell you something. Clark Lee played at Vanderbilt.
Good.
Shane Beamer coached for his dad. The association of Frank Beamer and Vanderbilt clearly should put Shane Beamer ahead of Clark Lee. But you know what CBS did? They gotta be creative. Gotta be different. So they go and they put Vanderbilt 13 with Clark Lee ahead of Shane Beamer. I'm going to tell you something right now. Who you think has a better year this year, Vandy or South Carolina?
South Carolina, it's not even close.
Well, their schedule is actually pretty tough.
They're not Clark Lee. Give it 3 years. I give it 3 years.
Paul, what do you think about that list?
Blasphemy.
That is blasphemous.
And that is another edition of
Feigned Indignance from Sports Talk Radio Guy over random summertime sports lists.
What do you think about it, Paul?
I dig it.
Okay. We missed you, Paul.
I missed you guys too.
Scintillating. Kendall Rogers next.
AFR.
Better coverage for less money. Call Insurance Network of Louisiana. 293-0450. 293-0450. Process is simple. Call that number. Do it right now. 293-0450. Driving in your car, you have permission to stop listening to me right now to call 293-0450. Actually, tell Siri to do it. Hey, Siri, call 293-0450. I bet a bunch of people's phones did it, right?
0450.
I told you, a whole bunch of people's phones just did that. And so Insurance Network of Louisiana's phones are going to be like, that's so good. I got to start doing that on all my live reads now. We're automatically going to start like peppering phone number and peppering call volume. I love it. Insurance Network of Louisiana. They'll take some information about your current coverage and they'll go shop for you to see if they can get you better coverage for less money. It's that easy. And it's free. 293-0450.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, Kendall Rogers, D1 Baseball, joins us. How are you?
Dude, I'm doing better. I'm glad all the LSU staff has been filled, so I don't have to track that down anymore. So that's a positive.
I just went to your Twitter to make sure I didn't miss any other breaking news, since you break all the news about LSU and basically everything. And little balloons came up on my screen, and it said today is their birthday. Is today your birthday?
It is. I'm 38 years old, man. I feel, you know what, after the coaching carousel and going through the NC State mess in Omaha, I feel like I'm about 48 right now.
You know, Kendall, as long as you and I have known each other, I am stunned that we have never stumbled upon this factoid.
Uh-oh.
You and I share a birthday.
Oh, congrats. Well, happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
Are you 38?
I'm 39.
Oh wow. Okay.
Happy birthday
Well,
to
it's
us.
a good day then.
It is a good day.
Yeah. Let's give each other a hand here.
Yeah, man. Hey, you know who else has our birthday? And I think she might actually be exactly your age. Is Sophia Bush. You've never looked up like birthdays, like famous birthdays on July 8th?
I do not. You know what? You talking about the actress?
Yeah, dude. She was on one of those like CW shows back in the day. Gosh, she's so hot.
Well, I think my wife used to watch one of those shows back when we first got married.
Yeah, man. July. Let's see, July, and there's another one. Maybe like it's Kevin Bacon. Kevin Bacon's birthday is July 8th.
Well, now my life is complete.
How about that? You, me, Sophia Bush, and Kevin Bacon. That's so good.
Hey, it's perfect, man. Hey, as long as today's Kevin Bacon's birthday, my life is complete.
I know. Sophia Bush is 39, so she's my age. We're born on the exact same day. Milo Ventimiglia, that guy today. How about John Rockefeller, July 8th? Tell you what.
Toby Keith?
Are you looking at it right? Yep, Toby Keith. Are you looking at it
right now?
I know, so good. There's another one, though.
Wolfgang Puck is 72 today. Congrats to Wolfgang.
How about that? 70. He made it. He made it.
And whoever the heck T. Steezy is 21.
Are you looking at famousbirthdays.com? Yeah. I'm looking at the same thing. Oh, Beck's birthday is today. That's so good too. Beck, you know the song, like Loser, the song, Beck, the musician.
Oh, that's a classic.
I know, right?
Well, I think my day is made though. The fact that I share a birthday with Kevin Bacon and never knew it.
And me?
Of course you're assumed.
Whatever, Kendall. All right. But happy birthday. That's really, really cool. I'm so glad that we stumbled upon that you and I are birthday brothers.
We could have just had a co-birthday party.
Well, come on down. You know I got a crap load of whiskey in my house. Let's have a whiskey taste.
Yeah, it's only
really good.
4.5 hours. Well, 5.5 including the bridge, but 4.5 hours on Google Maps.
He knows Baton Rouge so well. All right. Now that we've spent like almost all the segment talking about that, LSU's made 2 hires, Jason Kelly, Dan Fitzgerald. Let's take them one at a time. They've officially introduced Jason Kelly. So give us the skinny on him.
Yeah, I know J.K. really well since his days at Cal Poly. He did a really nice job at Cal Poly back in the day. He went to Washington, did a really nice job with their pitching staff, was really kind of the catalyst of getting UW to Omaha, finally getting them to Omaha when they won that series against the Cal State Fullerton in the Super Regional. And he actually did a pretty nice job at Arizona State. I mean, a lot of people are going to look at some of the freak injuries they had this year and go, oh, my God, this guy's going to get all of our guys hurt. But it really was one of those freak things. He hasn't had a lot of issues with injuries, over the last, 3 or 4 years other than this year. But he had them headed the right direction. Cooper Benson for Arizona State was really good as a freshman until the COVID season kind of hit. Boyd Vanderkoy at Arizona State, who's, him and Eric Tolman were both hurt this year. Both of those guys are really good 2 years ago. So I think with J.K., he's one of those guys that has a very infectious personality. I think he fits that place really well. And, I think he's going to recruit well. And, I think he's going to bring in elite talent. He'll do a pretty good job. It's interesting because, the other option here would have been Rob Childers at Texas A&M. And it goes without saying that Rob would have been a blockbuster hire. But I think Jason Kelly's a very good hire as well.
They also bring in Dan Fitzgerald from Dallas Baptist. And this was a name that popped onto the radar and ultimately got the job. Probably a little surprising considering some of the other names they talked to. So how did he ultimately win this job?
So it's really interesting how this all went down. So Dan, he's a rock star. I think, to me, he's the most impactful hire of all. I think Dan's an excellent coach. I think he's an excellent recruiter. I mean, he is an A-plus person. And what's really interesting about this is, Fitzgerald was actually in line to potentially go to Texas A&M. He decided to stay put for the time being. He had his name in a couple of head coaching jobs. And the idea was he's probably going to get one of these head coaching jobs. Well, he doesn't go to A&M. He doesn't get a couple of these jobs. A&M hires Nolan Cain. And now LSU hires Dan Fitzgerald. So it's just kind of funny, like the way some of those dominoes fell and how it all worked out. But Dan Hefner will tell you that Dan Fitzgerald is the biggest key behind the success that DBU's had. And I don't think people realize if you've ever been to DBU, their campus is literally about the size of like literally a big high school or something. And the fact that they've done what they've done to that program is unbelievable. So I actually really, really love the Dan Fitzgerald hire. It may not be, Chad Kaye or somebody like that. It's somebody who's very familiar with the area, but he's familiar with Texas. He's had to recruit nationally at times at DBU. And I think he's an excellent hire for LSU.
Can you elaborate? Kendall Rogers, D1 Baseball, is with us. I'm hoping you can elaborate a little, because there's this question that a lot of fans here have, and as best as I've tried to explain it, you could definitely do a better job, that these guys aren't from here. How can they recruit here if they're not from Louisiana or have ties here? What do you say to that?
Well, I say, I'm from East Texas, went to college at Texas A&M, and I could go to LSU tomorrow and sell that place with no issue. LSU sells itself. I get it that people want someone that's from around there, but as long as you have people inside the program, it doesn't necessarily need to be from a coaching standpoint. Now, if Jay Johnson, the only people he had in the program involved, whether it's ops, development, or anything, were all non-Louisiana people, then yeah, I think you might have a point. But from a coaching standpoint, selling that brand is so easy to me. And so I just think as long as you have people who at least somewhat know the area, like Fitzgerald, for instance, if he's from Texas, he would have to know Louisiana high schools to an extent. So I think as long as you have people behind the scenes that are familiar with Louisiana, you're just fine. I've always thought that kind of thing is overrated. I remember, just to kind of make this football related, I remember when, Jimbo Fisher went to Texas A&M and people said, well, he went to college in West Virginia, he coached in Florida, he has no Texas ties, and he's done okay. So I just think a good to great coach is a good to great coach. It doesn't matter where they're from or where their staff is from.
Hey, before you go, we've also seen Jay Johnson really active in the transfer portal with Barry, and then we found out yesterday about McManus and Reiselman. What can you tell us about those guys and what their impact is going to be and what it's going to mean big picture for LSU next year?
Well, big picture, I feel sorry for opposing teams' pitchers that have to go into that lineup. Whether it's McManus with his double-digit bombs, and Jacob Berry. I was just talking to Elliot Avent, the USA baseball coach, and he could not stop talking about Jacob Berry. He just said, this kid's incredible. And, of course, I've seen it all year. But he's just like, man, this guy has such an awesome approach. And he's like, he actually made the comment, I can't imagine him and Dylan Cruz, back-to-back in that lineup. And so when you look at those guys in particular, it just changes the dynamic of that whole lineup. I already thought that lineup was going to be good. Now that lineup is just downright lethal. So I think as long as LSU can get the young, talented arms like the Ty Floyds, the Blake Money, two guys that I really liked at times last year. Obviously, they were a little raw, but had big-time arms. If they can get guys like that to take a step forward, they can get a couple of arms out of the portal between now and the fall. I'll start to feel very good about this team. And I actually have LSU in Omaha 8 for next year. I think they're just going to hit the ball really well. And I think there's enough talent there. They can kind of piece things together on the mound. I don't think it's going to be pretty at all times pitching-wise, but I don't think it needs to be. I think the team's going to hit so much. I would say it's not going to matter, but it's not going to matter as much as maybe it would this past year, for instance.
Man, it's crazy that we're in early July and we're still talking LSU baseball, but there's a I
love it.
Dude, I do too, man. It's the first time in 15 years there's been a staff change here, obviously, and people are very excited about the sort of injection of life and energy into the newness. So, Kendall Rogers, D1 Baseball. It's a great time to go sign up over at d1baseball.com. He's on Twitter at Kendall Rogers. Follow him. Happy birthday, man. Thanks for making a couple minutes for us.
Have a great birthday, dude.
You too,
yeah,
man.
We'll see you.
All right, bud. Be well. We appreciate it. Kendall Rogers, his birthday today, my birthday today. And I got a little note. I want to shout out the Rips Baseball Academy. Their 8U team out of Denham Springs. Last week, they were playing out in Florida. And apparently, half of their team all had their birthday. Four players within 5 days had their birthday. So shout out to Britton Wilson, Mason Hodges, Jude Hogan, and Logan Ray. Happy birthday, young men. Have a good approach. Hit the ball straight. Eat your vegetables. Listen to your mom and dad. And keep listening to AFR. They're all huge fans, apparently. I had a parent tell me, all these kids love you. They're a huge fan of the show. They love a birthday shout-out. I was like, hell yeah, I'll do that. Love it, man. The Rips Baseball Academy, the U18. Go get them, guys. All right, it's after further review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. New radio voice of the Saints, Mike Haas, in 15 minutes from right now. Muso will have Tigers in the pros next.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001. I've told you for years, they save you time, they save you money. They say it. We're always on time or you don't pay a dime. Scheduled time to be at your house or 1 minute late, you don't come out of pocket 1 cent. And remember, mention the Moscona special. They'll save you $25 on any system repair, no matter what repair that may be. Hire them to do the work, mention the show, they'll save you $25. River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, 752-0001. If it's to repair your AC, if it's to install a new AC, if it's that time. Erica and I went through that about a year ago. We had to have a new system installed at our home. It was just time, and River City's 1 Hour Air did a magnificent job. Give them a call. 752-0001, 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Wrapping up hour number 2, Muso has Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Kentucky's Best Hemp. Find them online at kysbesthemp.com.
Started off with a Tiger getting a promotion. That's Nick Bush. Nick Bush up to Double-A Hartford from High A Spokane. 10 appearances, 7 starts with Spokane. 4-2, 3 wins in his last 4 starts. An ERA of 2.58. 60 punch-outs in 52 and a third innings. All that earns Nick Bush the promotion up to Hartford to play for the Yard Goats.
He should have come back.
Yeah. No, I mean...
I was just doing the Nas Reed.
I know, but honestly, I mean, yeah.
Well, I was doing the Nas Reed thing, Muse. It was a joke.
Well, now you got me thinking, though.
I mean, it would have been great because he emerged so much late in 2018.
I know, that's
and
what
he was
I'm
going to be a
saying.
starter. And it would have been great to have him there, part of that
They needed-
rotation.
yeah, they needed
with,
starters.
with Cole Henry. It would have been awesome. It would have been awesome, just like it would have been awesome if Nas Reed had come back. But you understand why he went.
I get
Muse,
it.
You're way overthinking this.
Yeah, now I'm sad, though. Thanks a lot.
Sorry.
Gosh, man. Anyway, Zach Watson last night.
He's punting the rest of the segment.
1 for 5 with a run scored. Also 3 RBI. 3 RBI single for Zach Watson. The Aberdeen Ironbirds take down the Greenville Drive 9-1. Watson a big part of that victory. Josh Smith stays hot last night.
Hey, Kelly! Here's the video, Paulie, if you want it. I got it. I was hoping you had it. I know you sometimes don't like to mention Josh Smith or Calico guys when they do well because you're a hater. But I had the video ready just in case if you didn't do it.
We literally had
have
2
it.
Catholic high guys in the segment yesterday.
You're a hater.
What are you talking about? 1 for 3 with a run scored and RBI. The run scored and the RBI were the home run.
It was a yak, too.
It was a shot.
It was a ball.
Came in the third inning with 1 out. Josh Smith, 333 on the year for the Hudson Valley Renegades. It's a good name.
And they're a Yankees affiliate.
They are.
And he went to Cali.
He did.
Cali, LSU Yankees.
That's like the trifecta, isn't it?
That is the holy trifecta.
That is right there. You like that. And finally, Zach Hess last night for the West Michigan Whitecaps. Closed out the game. It wasn't a losing effort, but Zach Hess, 1 shutout inning. No walks, 2 strikeouts. The game was already really decided by the time he was in. But nonetheless, solid outing for one Zach Hess. And that's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by KYSBestHemp.com. KYSBestHemp.com. Kentucky's Best Hemp. I have some great news, by the way, about Kentucky's Best Hemp. Of course, you can go online, you can buy Kentucky's Best Hemp, and you can use the promo code AFR30, and you can save 30% off your order and all that stuff. But you know Anthony Renato's Cards and Culture is opening up over there in Perkins Row. Well, I had a conversation today with Lewis Coleman, who, of course, is his company, Kentucky's Best Hemp. and he played with Renato at LSU. They won a championship together. Well, Cards and Culture is going to carry Kentucky's Best Hemp. So if you don't want to place your order online and you want to go buy it in person, the official grand opening of Cards and Culture, Saturday, you go get some Kentucky's Best Hemp there. How about that? Gummies, dog treats,
salve,
CBD oil, salve. Apparently they have bath bombs too. Never going to the mall again.
Well, you don't have to go to Lush anymore. You just go Cards and Culture.
Go to Cards and Culture. All right, Kentucky's Best Hemp. Promo code AFR30, AFR30 for Kentucky's Best Hemp. All right, Zach Strief joined the Saints coaching staff, which means he left a vacancy in the booth. The new voice of the Saints is Mike Haas, who is going to join us next on After Further Review, right after we get a check on national headlines from SportsCenter here at the top of the hour.
AFR.
I got a text today, honest to goodness, true story, from my cousin Steven, who, he said happy birthday, cousin Coos, anyway. And he also sent me a picture of he and Dr. Blake Williamson. I mean, I don't know if you can see it, but it's honest to goodness, true story. That's them right there. Yep, that's him. And he said, 1 week or 2 week checkup, see in 2020. It's a 1 week checkup, my bad. 2020 at my 1 week checkup, Dr. Blake is a baller. That's what he said to me. And he is. He's Dr. Blake Williamson. No matter your refractive issue, and that's my cousin Steven, who, when he was, I think, a senior in high school, had LASIK. So this has been more than 20 years now. Had LASIK, was needing glasses again, was a perfect candidate for PRK. Now can see again, perfect 2020 without glasses. No matter your age or refractive issue, the Williamson Eye Center has a solution to where you can see without contacts or glasses. Go for that consultation. 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEYE.com.